yourself, right? It's gonna look like, wow, like you got this, you got the goods. And this is all really community and trust. It's happening already. Like the colleagues that you have are being nurtured from somewhere. And so while you're striving to do this all on your own, the competition is not. And so you have to think about, well, what resources do I have at my disposal so I can compete? It's true in law school. And so, again, like I said, that one colleague I had who said, hey, Boston isn't for me, cool. But for me, I was like, all right, but if I'm in this torts class and I know that everyone on external has a torts outline already, that they're sharing amongst themselves, for me to start from scratch is actually doing myself a disservice. And that through line continues into the profession. And so I think, bar association, it doesn't have to be a bar association, but find something. My wife is a Delta. She deals with some stuff. She's in academia. She deals with some stuff, and she goes to her sergeant and says, "Well, what do you think about this?" And she come out and she be ready for war. And I'm like, "Cool." I'm in a fraternity. I'm an alpha, and I sometimes have to lean on my friends and say, "Listen, what do you think about this?" Because you want some place where you can get honest feedback. Because sometimes people are like, "Nah, bro, you bugging." Right? That was not the right thing to do. You said what? You're like, "Ooh, I gotta walk that back." Right? So you need to go someplace where you can be truthfully held accountable. And so whether it's a bar association or a different civic organization, I think that's really what it can provide in a way that may or may not be true in an organization setting where at the end of the day, the bottom line is the driving force. And so if you need more support than they can provide, you might have outed yourself as being in that situation when you didn't necessarily have to. So that's the pragmatic sort of approach that I view bar associations have. It's also, I think, just good for leadership skills. I think, going into an interview, having led an organization in law school or participated in an organization in law school just shows that you believe in something bigger than yourself. And I think that's true for every organization. You have to be able to lean into, here's what I offer, but I also recognize that this is a team environment. So I think it helps you practice those skills. It also gives you a space where you can kind of define the goals, I think. Because if you go into most bar associations, you're volunteering. So if you say, hey, this is something that's really important to me, you're not going to get a whole lot of pushback, especially if you're going to run with it yourself. So I think it gives you an opportunity to move from vision to execution, which kind of serves you well no matter what it is you're looking to do. But I am a believer that there's a bar association for everyone, right? Or a subcommittee for everyone where you can continue to advance and grow your skill set. So it just makes sense to do it. Now, caveat, you never want your volunteer life to compromise how you eat, right? So again, if you are volunteering, and I did this, right? If you are a leader on the campus, but you got like a 2.4 GPA, you gotta reassess. You can't compromise. Like if I'm president of the GSBA and I don't have a day job, right? I don't know how I'm gonna feed myself, I don't know how I'm gonna feed my family. There's been a glitch in the system. So to speak, like I gotta really go back to the drawing board and think about where I'm putting my energy. But all that being said, all this is about developing skills. So maybe the answer is you drop the job and you create a bar association for yourself, right? If that is that important to you, you become the executive director of your own bar association. But you can't volunteer yourself into a hole. And you'll want to do it. There's enough work that needs to be done, but you can't compromise your specific end goal in the name of volunteering, from my perspective. So I think you always, what does that say? It's like you got to put your own oxygen mask on first. The work of a DEI professional, the work of you folks being in this profession, you can feel like you're trying to boil the ocean sometimes, right? And so you have to kind of think through, well, am I overextending myself for real? Because the billable hour, I don't know how much you've heard about this yet, but the billable hour is your lifeblood as a firm attorney. And so if you're looking at your billable hour and it's not what it's supposed to be, and you're going out to an event after work, that's not really the way that's supposed to go. If you know you're coming up against a big exam and you're not where you want to be in terms of preparation, and you're still going out to the after hours event, that's not really the right decision there, from my perspective. So I get it. There's like a piece of FOMO that comes with that. Well, what am I missing out on by not going? But you have to temper that, because first things first, like the evaluation system as it stands today right now is based on your GPA, so you need to have a degree. When you're in a firm, it's based on how much money you bring to the firm, so you need to have to go apply first. So you never want to compromise how you'll be fairly evaluated, because being unfairly evaluated is, we can have a long conversation about that, but if the evaluation is actually fair and it's not cutting in your favor, you gotta reassess kind of where you're putting your time.